We'll begin now. Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you for joining us today. My name is Kautu Kastu. I'm a member of Trans Dimensions Student Club of ISC Bangalore, and it's truly wonderful to see you all here once again. So, thank you so much for continuing this journey of reflection and self-discovery with us. And I know you are all have busy schedules. Some of you might running late for mess or something, but it's truly wonderful. So today we'll discuss day 6 of 18-day Gita reading series. And but before we move into today's theme, let's have a quick recap of what we learned yesterday. So yesterday we understood the real renunciation is not about quitting work, but about quitting selfishness while working. We learned that a mature person remains calm in success and steady in failure, and that true peace arises from right understanding of God as the God, as the real enjoyed proprietor and well-wisher of all of us. So let's begin today's discussion. We'll have a small quiz for you first. So you can see there's a picture displayed on the screen. So here's a question for you. How you think can a handle placed in strong wind hold a steady flame? Any guesses? How can a candle placed in strong wind hold a steady flame? You can unmute yourself or can answer the chat window. Kaushik says if it's covered with something. Any other guesses? I see one more person typing. Let's wait for his answer. So meanwhile, others also think, how will you make the flame steady if sealed with transparent glass around? Okay, very nice, Krishna. Naveen Krishna says, how much the fire it holds. Okay, so it's a normal candle, day-to-day candle. But okay, thank you all for your answers. I see Kaushik, Krishna, both of you like nearly answered the, nearly guessed the correct answer. So yes, the natural answer is no, unless it is sealed by a glass or something. So the flame has to be protected. So that protection is the key insight. So similar, drawing an analogy to us, a true yogi, as described by Lord Krishna, is not someone who escapes the world. He is one who builds a protective shield around the mind. How can you build a protective shield? Through discipline, balance, and the power of yoga. Just as a candle needs a glass covering to remain steady in the wind, the mind needs inner regulation to remain peaceful amid the distractions, temptations, and turbulence. So, with this analogy, we'll move into the chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, and today's theme is Be a Yogi. So, in this chapter, Lord Sri Krishna deepens the inward journey. He will explain who is a true yogi and how a disciplined, balanced inner life can lead to a lasting peace, even in a world filled with noise, pressure, and distraction. So, are you guys ready for the today's discussion? Can I have thumbs up, please? Okay, a lot of thumbs up. So I guess everyone is ready. So beautiful. So with that intention, it is my great pleasure to invite Sri Vigrah Das Prabhu from ISKCON Bangalore. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Kautuk. Hare Krishna. So, shall we begin?
Yes, Prabhu. Please guide us through today's discussion.
Okay, let's begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome all of you once again for today's discussion on chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. This chapter 6 talks about something called Sankhya Yoga, wherein Lord Krishna delineates the process of meditation. Generally, we think that the moment we think about the word yoga, what comes to our mind is some asanas, some breathing exercises. Of course, these are all the physical aspects of yoga, Ashtanga yoga. But then there are many more preparatory aspects, subtle aspects that Lord Krishna talks about Ashtanga yoga or Dhyana yoga in this chapter. Also, Lord Krishna emphasizes the point that a real yogi is not one who simply renounces his actions and uh, you know just goes to some Himalayas or some forest. No, a real yogi performs his duty while fixing his mind on the Supreme Lord. In fact, you cannot become a yogi, Lord Krishna says, if you simply uh, go to extreme ideas. One extreme idea is I will enjoy my senses to the maximum. Another extreme idea is I will deny all sorts of pleasures to my senses. So both are extreme ideas. Lord Krishna says one has to practice regulation. One has to be balanced in his approach. In this chapter, Lord Krishna also says one cannot be a yogi if he eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or sleeps too little. So one has to attain a balanced state of living, and that is called yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Yoga is all about attaining a balance in all our endeavors, in all our activities. So let us talk about three important aspects from this chapter. The first one, Lord Krishna talks about here. He says, mastering the mind is, in fact, this is a statement of Arjuna, and Lord Krishna agrees also with this. Mastering the mind is harder than conquering the world, but it is the real victory. In fact, Arjuna, after hearing the description of the details of how to perform Dhyana Yoga from Lord Krishna, he says in this chapter, Vayor ivasa dushkaram. Oh, Lord Krishna, I can control the mighty wind, but as far as controlling my mind is concerned, it is very, very difficult. Why? He says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balavadrudam tasyaham nigraham manye vayor ivasa dushkaram. Oh Krishna, my mind is chanchalam. It is flickering. It is not steady. It keeps moving about from one subject to another subject, from one thought to another thought, just like a monkey on the tree. It is not steadily situated on one branch. It keeps jumping from one branch to another branch. That is why the mind is often compared to a monkey. High level of activity, but no stability, no steadiness. That is exactly how a monkey behaves, and that's how our mind also is. That is captured in this word chanchalam. It is flickering, it is not steady. So, mastering this mind is very, very difficult. right? And one may be able to conquer the world, one may be able to control the blowing wind, but one will not be able to so easily control or master his or her mind. But Lord Krishna says, unless you control your mind, it is not possible for you to attain peace. In fact, Lord Krishna says in this chapter, sixth verse of the sixth chapter, Bandhuratmatmanastasya enatvai matmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmaiva shatruvat. Lord Krishna says, for a person who has conquered his mind becomes his best friend. Whereas a person who has failed to conquer his mind is the greatest enemy. So many times we think our enemies are situated externally, external to us, outside us. But actually, we fail to realize that the greatest enemy is sitting within us, our uncontrolled mind. Therefore, Lord Krishna says, real victory in life is when you're able to conquer your mind. So, let me give you an example, and later I will tell you what is the solution Lord Krishna gives to control the mind. Suppose there are two students in a college. Both are studying in the college, probably some degree. And one of the students is the topper of the college, and he is celebrated in the entire college for being such a successful, focused, such a successful student who always scores high percentage of marks. But internally, this topper is constantly in anxiety, and he's also struggling with his habits, his smartphone addiction. He keeps scrolling and scrolling for hours together. And he also keeps comparing himself with others, and that brings in more anxiety and pressure upon him. So, externally, he looks like a very good student, a very good performer, topper of the college, but internally, he has he has a big challenge uh, controlling his mind, his thoughts, and his addictions. Let's say there is another student, and he is not the topper of the college. He's an average student, but he is able to control his anger. He is able to focus on his studies. He is able to stay calm under pressure, right? He may not have scored the top percentage, topmost marks in the college, but he's an average student. But he has a better control over his anger, his thoughts, and he stays calm even amidst pressure. So, whom do you consider to be a successful person? Yeah, your marks card, when you compare the marks card, the first person appears to be successful, and the second person is just an average student when it comes to marks. But when it comes to managing their mind and thoughts, don't you think the second student is far better? And going forward in life, there are brighter chances that the second student will emerge to become more successful in life overall compared to the first one. That is why it is said, your attitude in life determines your attitude determines your altitude in life, not your aptitude. See, there are three words: aptitude. Aptitude means your proficiency, your abilities to solve problems and all of that. That is aptitude. And then attitude is something to do with your mind, your thoughts, your self control. So the saying says your attitude and not your aptitude decides your altitude in life. To what height you're going to grow in life, that is determined by your attitude. That is why Lord Krishna says, for a person who has controlled his mind, the mind is going to be the best friend for him. So Lord Krishna, after hearing Arjuna's statement, he acknowledges what Arjuna says. Arjuna said that my mind is also controlled. very difficult to control because it is chanchala. And Krishna acknowledged it. And Krishna said, it is definitely very difficult to control the mind because of its restless nature, but it is possible by two things. If you adopt the 2 point formula, you can control your mind, Krishna says. What is that? Krishna says, by abhyasa, by constant, consistent practice, and by vairagya, by detachment from what is unnecessary. If you adopt these two principles, then you can actually conquer your mind. So, abhyasa. So, let's go to the second slide. Consistency in habits is what we have to practice. We have to take up the process, the right process, and consistently practice it. Make it a part of our daily habits. That is possible when if you can do that, you can bring your mind to your control. So, one of the processes that we have been insisting in this series of sessions is the mantra meditation, right? So, mantra meditation is very, very powerful, yet very simple. But when you consistently practice it, you can see for yourself how your mind can actually come under your control. You will experience it yourself. So, consistency is more important than once in a while intensity. Once in a while when I go to temple, I will chant, or once in a week, I will chant. On some special day, I will practice. No, rather than that, it is recommended that consistently on a daily basis we practice. So I'll give you an example of two students. Okay. So there are two students, typically two types of students. The first type of students, they consistently every day devote some half an hour, 40 minutes to study, to brush up the topics that have been taught to them in the school or college that particular day. That means every day he is on the mark, he is in line, on track with the syllabus that is covered. That is one kind of students. You know, another kind of students are those don't study every day. What do? They wait for the timetable, examination date to be announced, and just one night before the exam, they do a night out, whole night, 8 or 9 hours. They sit at a stretch and try to finish the entire syllabus to study. Now, what happens because of this? That student can burn out, isn't it? And there is no proper learning that is happening. There is intensity, 8 hours of studies, whole night, but then it's going to affect his health, it's going to affect his mind, and there are chances that the next day in the examination hall, he will feel drowsy, he will not be able to recollect the points, and he may not actually fare well in the exam. Whereas a student, the first student who consistently had the habit of studying the topics then and there, every day, spending half an hour, such a person will have more confidence. He will not get stressed out, and he will have better hold on the concepts, isn't it? Not just about scoring marks. I have also come across people who just study one night before the exam and score very well. But then the person who consistently puts an effort throughout the semester, throughout the academic term, he or she will have better hold on the concept. He can grasp the concepts much better, isn't it? So, therefore, consistency in our habits is more important than once in a while intensity. So, the same thing holds good for our mind control also. Once in a while, I will try to be spiritual. Once in a while, I do some meditation. No, that's not going to work. In fact, even those who want to keep their body fit, it is advised that consistently every day do exercises, follow a proper routine, discipline, isn't it? The greatest indicator of success in any field is not motivation. It is not once in a while intense performance or practice. It is consistency and discipline. Now, this is actually called being a yogi. Being a yogi means consistently with discipline. I have certain principles in my life. I have decided to lead my life based on these principles in a disciplined manner, and that is how I'm going to lead my life. So, this kind of a determination is very, very important to become a yogi. Becoming a yogi is not about changing your external dress. It's not about calling yourself that you're so spiritual or something. No, being a yogi means being disciplined. Very, very important. Discipline, right? So Lord Krishna says, Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagaminaha. So the mind has the tendency to run there and here. It has the tendency to go there and here, like the monkey on the tree. It cannot be stable on one point. But Lord Krishna says, it may be difficult to control your mind, but it is not impossible. If you follow consistently a proper process, it is possible to bring the mind under your control. And the second thing is this, the first principle I told, Krishna says abhyasa, practice. The second thing is vairagya. Vairagya means being detached from unnecessary activities. If you take the example of a student once again, if the student has to prepare for an exam tomorrow, there is an exam tomorrow. Today, if he sits and says, "Oh, my favorite movie stars, cinema is coming in the TV, right? It is coming on the TV. So therefore, let me watch the TV." No, this is not going to happen. So it may be your favorite uh, hero's movie. It may be very nice to watch the movie, but it is important to know that at this point of time, my priority is to devote time for studies. So that means detachment from what is not necessary. So can we go to the next slide? So the mind can be your best friend or your biggest obstacle. It depends on how you train it. If you train it with the practice of meditation and detachment from what is unnecessary, then it is possible for you to control the mind. Mind can become your best friend with these two principles: consistent practice of mantra meditation and developing detachment. Now, detachment can be developed by acquiring wisdom and knowledge, right? So we need to have the understanding about what is the purpose of my life. For example, the student, he must have full clarity. What is the purpose for which I'm going to school every day? If he does not have this clarity, then only he gets attracted to things which become a deviation for him, disturbance, distraction for him. So a person who has the knowledge and who is always conscious of his purpose, his goal, he will never get deviated. Even if he gets distracted for a moment, he will come back because he has clarity. Oh, this is where I'm supposed to go. I'm going off track. So detachment means having the right understanding about what is the purpose of human life. Human life is not meant for, uh, you know, uncontrolled sense enjoyment. That's not the purpose of human life. Then we are as good as animals, isn't it? Animals also enjoy eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanametam etat pashubhir naranam. Four things which are common to animals and humans: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So we should not think, if I do these four things in a sophisticated manner, then that is a success of my life. No, human life is actually meant for deep inquiry. It is meant for self realization, it is meant for spiritual realization and development of our relationship with God. So we must utilize this valuable gift given to us, that is the human life, in order to advance in spiritual consciousness. So, so the point is we should set priorities in our life, what has to be done, what should not be done. So there is one interesting, uh, you know, one interesting distinction which we can learn and apply in our life, which will help us to set priorities in life. Because at a given point of time, we may have two or three or four options to choose from. What should I do at this point of time? Every time we get, we have this doubt: should I do A or should I do B? Should I do C? Should I go for studies or should I go and watch this movie of my favorite actor? Isn't it? This could be, there's always there. We always have to make some decisions, make choices in life. So the Vedic scriptures tell us that there are two kinds of activities: Shreyas and Preyas. Preyas means those activities which give you immediate satisfaction, immediate pleasure. That is called Preyas. Okay. On the contrary, Shreyas means that which is going to give me long term benefit. In the long run, I'm going to be happy, satisfied in life. So there are two activities. You should always check. Is it a prayers? Prayers means something which promises you immediate gratification. Anything which promises you immediate gratification, shortcut to success, all these kind of things are actually a trap. We should be very, very careful to avoid them. It might feel good to indulge in it immediately and get some kind of a pleasure, but in the long run, you will only be left with frustration and guilt. So the acharyas explain to us that we should choose Shreyas. What is long term beneficial for me? What is long term good for me? Right? That I have to choose. For this, we need knowledge and wisdom. That is why we are discussing the Bhagavad Gita principles in this series. By understanding the true purpose of our life from the pages of Bhagavad Gita, we get equipped with the right knowledge, and with that, we can make choices in life. So, anything comes your way, you should check: is it prayers or shreyas? Is it going to give me immediate pleasure, or is it going to give me long term good? Yes, long term good, whatever, I will choose that. This is how you can actually stabilize your habits and your mind, right? So, for example, as I said, in the example of the student who has exam tomorrow and he is tempted to watch the movie or go out and play with his friends, we are not saying going out and playing is wrong. It's not about right or wrong. It's not about, we are not saying, uh, watching the movie is wrong. It's not about right or wrong. It's about what is more good, what is better, what is going to help you for your long term fulfillment of your goals in life. That is called prioritization. So, a student who is serious about his career, he will decide that this movie can wait, I can watch it later also. Now, let me actually focus on my studies because tomorrow is my paper. So in the same way, in our daily lives, we should be able to make such distinctions, prioritize, and for that we need knowledge. That means the student developed some detachment, at least for time being, towards his favorite movie because he understood that this is more important. Focusing on my exam, tomorrow's paper is more important. So that is called detachment. So meditation and detachment, constant practice, consistent practice can help us make our mind as our best friend. Okay, so now let us practice this meditation for 1 minute. We will chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I request all of you to please join me. And the invocation prayer is displayed on the screen. We will chant one time together. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Now we will chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra together for 1 minute, about 11 times. Please chant audibly, hear each word of the mantra attentively, and each time your mind goes there and here, bring the mind back on the sound by chanting a little faster or a little louder. That's how the mind can come back on the sound. Okay, let's chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare. 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 Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you very much for joining me in the mantra meditation. My request to all of you is to please practice this mantra meditation every day and at least for one round, 108 times if you can chant every day. It is very simple, yet very, very powerful, most recommended process. So, when you chant this consistently, you can attain a greater control over your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions, and also get out of all kinds of negative habits. So, my request to all of you is to please chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day. It's very simple. So, there are students in the campus who join online every day in the morning, 7:30, and you can join also and chant along with them. Can we go to the next slide, please? So, tomorrow we're going to talk about the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This is one of the fundamental questions that many people have. Does Sanatana Dharma say that there are many gods? Many times people have this question. There are other faiths who say there's only one God. But in Sanatana Dharma, in Hinduism, there are so many gods. So, what is the actual understanding? What does Bhagavad Gita say about it? So, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Are there many gods? So, if there are, why? Right? So, we are going to talk about it in tomorrow's session. And few announcements. Go to the next slide. Tomorrow, please do join us at the same time. That is at 8:45. So now we will have the Q&A. If you have any questions, anything to say or anything to ask about what we discussed, based on what we discussed today, you can either type your question on the chat box or you can unmute yourself and speak out the question. So we will wait for another 2 minutes. If there are no questions, we will close the meeting. Okay, meanwhile, let me ask you a question from the sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, just to enhance our understanding, to learn some things. So, in the sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, uh, what is the conclusion of this sixth chapter? Because in the first part of the Bhagavad Gita, see, the Bhagavad Gita can be divided into three parts. There are 18 chapters. First six is like the introduction to different processes. So In the first six chapters, Krishna talks about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, many processes he talks about. So, my question is at the end of the sixth chapter, what process of yoga is said to be the best? Okay, which yoga is said to be the best as per the conclusion of Lord Krishna? Anyone wants to take a guess? You can type your answer. Okay, Krishna Pandey says Karma Yoga. Karma, he says. Okay, any other answers? Ankit says Bhakti Yoga. Any other answers? Bhakti Yoga. Okay. Yes. Chandra Prakash says Bhakti Yoga. So many people are saying Bhakti Yoga. Okay, right. The answer is right. Krishna says in the concluding, the last shloka of the sixth chapter, chapter number 6, verse number 47, Lord Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. Lord Krishna says, of all yogis, of all different types of yogis, we have talked about karma yogi, jnana yogi, dhyana yogi, so many different types of yogi. Of all different types of yogi, he who always rests his mind on my spiritual form with great faith, who engages in my seva, bhajate, bhajana means to serve, such a person is called the topmost yogi. Lord Krishna concludes. So, the topmost yogi, so there is something called the yoga ladder. It's like if you're climbing a ladder, there are different steps in the ladder, isn't it? So, in the yoga ladder, the bottommost step is the karma yoga. Above that, when you perfect karma yoga, you can go to the next higher yoga called jnana yoga. And once who perfects jnana yoga, one comes to the point of dhyana yoga, meditation, which is described in the sixth chapter. And above that is the bhakti yoga. Why is it like this? It's because everybody initially, we all have one thing which we cannot avoid. This we have discussed in the third chapter, Karma Yoga chapter. One characteristic of every person is that we are always active every moment, either through our actions or through our thoughts or through our words. So every moment we are doing some of the other work, we are doing karma. No one is free from this tendency to act. So Lord Krishna says, don't simply act like that. You act selflessly and offer the results to me. Then karma becomes karma yoga. Yoga means union, connection with God. So the basic yoga that everybody can do is karma yoga. Very easily, initially, anybody can practice this. Do your duty and leave the results to the Lord, right? Do the work as an offering, as a sacrifice to God. That is karma yoga. Now, by doing selflessly, when you keep acting like this and practice karma yoga, keep acting selflessly, offer the fruits to God, then you come to the position of seeking knowledge. And that is where Jnana Yoga begins. So you start inquiring about who you are, you start inquiring about what is this world about, you start inquiring about what is a higher reality, all these things. That is Jnana Yoga. And we discussed about it in the fourth chapter that we need to approach a bona fide guru, inquire from him submissively, render service to him, and then get the knowledge from him, right? Now, when one attains this knowledge and applies himself to this knowledge, then one comes to the position of understanding that there is God And he realizes that an expansion of God called Paramatma is present within my heart. And he starts focusing his attention on the Paramatma within his heart. And that's how this knowledge, jnana, leads to dhyana, meditation on the Paramatma within the heart. Okay. So that means Karma Yoga leads to Jnana Yoga leads to Dhyana Yoga, meditation. Now, this meditation, when it actually attains perfection, then one can enter into a personal, loving relationship with God and develop a relationship of love, of devotion, surrender to the Supreme Lord. And that is called Bhakti Yoga, right? So that means these are actually progressive in nature. If one is who is called a karma yogi, he is practicing karma yoga, or he is not progressing beyond karma yoga. He has become stagnant there only. Then he's called karma yogi. Who is called a jnana yogi? He has practiced karma yoga before, and now he has come to the point of practicing jnana yoga, or he is stuck in jnana yoga. He's not further progressing. Then he's called a jnana yogi. Same thing with dhyana yogi also. But the perfection of yoga is to come to the point of developing pure love for God, developing personal relationship with God. That is called bhakti yoga. Now, all this can may not happen in a single lifetime. Krishna says this also. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. After many, many lifetimes, a person, after practicing all these yoga processes, if one is fortunate enough to come in touch with a pure devotee of the Lord who can teach him the signs of devotional service, such a person can take up the process of bhakti yoga. So it is a long-term, multi-life program. It is the soul progresses over a period of time. Okay. Now that means the question is, should I start with karma yoga now, and then maybe slowly I will, after some lifetimes, I'll come to graduate to jnana yoga. Then after some more lifetimes, I'll graduate to dhyana yoga. And after some 20, 30 lifetimes, maybe I will come to bhakti yoga. Is that the understanding that Bhagavad Gita is promoting? The answer is no. If one is fortunate enough, as I said, if he comes in touch with a pure devotee who is a spiritual master, pure devotee, and under his direction, if one can take up bhakti yoga directly, then also he can attain the perfection. It's not that you have to go through all the processes. And in fact, bhakti yoga is called the topmost yoga. Therefore, the aspects of other lower forms of yoga are already included in bhakti yoga. So, in this Kali Yuga, the best and the most suitable process for everybody is bhakti yoga. And especially in bhakti yoga, two important processes, Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting the holy names. So if we can do these two things, we can attain perfection in this very life, right? There is another analogy often quoted by Srila Prabhupada, our Acharya. He says, suppose if there is a multi-storied building, there are two ways to go to the top floor. One is you take step by step, you take the staircase, step by step, you start walking up, take the stairs and slowly come. Another option is you go to the elevator, the lift, and you just push the button and it will take you to the desired top floor, isn't it? So, Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness is like getting into the elevator instantly. And this needs the blessings of mercy of a realized pure devotee spiritual master. Under his guidance, when we take up the principles of Bhakti Yoga and practice sincerely, we can attain perfection in this very lifetime. So that is why, so at the end of the sixth chapter, Lord Krishna concludes that I have described several types of yoga, O Arjuna. but the topmost yogi is one who renders service to me, who fixes his mind upon my spiritual form with great faith. So and practices bhakti. So this is what Krishna concludes at the end of sixth chapter. Okay, any questions anyone has? Okay, Arjuna asks a question in this chapter towards the end. Arjuna asks Krishna, "Oh Krishna, let me tell you one case study. Suppose there is a person who has taken up the process of spiritual realization and he is trying to endeavor, he is trying to practice it to attain perfection. And due to some reason, due to worldly mindedness, due to some distraction, due to some bad association, he deviates from the path and goes astray. He was practicing, but he left all the practice, all the spiritual practices. What is the destination of such a person? What will happen to him? Is he lost forever? So, what is the future of such a person? Now, this is a very interesting question, isn't it? Arjuna is asking on behalf of all of us. And Lord Krishna replies, he says, Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. He says, oh my dear Arjuna, a person who is engaged in the auspicious spiritual activity will never meet with inauspicious results. So he was rendering service to me, he was trying to practice bhakti, but due to some reason he got deviated, he did not continue to attain perfection in this life. So he fell down from his practice, but I will save him. I will protect him. How? I will give him an opportunity again in the next life. I will give him a human form of life, and I will also give him opportunities which are favorable. I will put him in favorable circumstances. Krishna says, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Bhijayate. Yoga Brashta is a Sanskrit term to indicate an unsuccessful yogi, a person who could not complete perfection, attain perfection in one lifetime due to whatever reasons. He's called Yoga Brashta. So Krishna says, in the next life, I will ensure that he is born in a family which which has spiritual values, or he's born in a family of rich aristocracy. So what is our advantage of being born in a family of spiritual values? From day one, such a child is exposed to spiritual culture, spiritual knowledge, spiritual practices, which is very conducive for him to start off his journey once again. And another interesting thing, he's not going to start from the scratch. He or she is going to start from where he or she left in the past life. So, material advancement, suppose you attain 50% progress in some material field in one lifetime. In the next life, you have to again start from the scratch. Suppose you are, let's say, Albert Einstein in this life. So you have discussed, you have come up with theory of relativity, and you're worldwide recognized for your contribution, for your theories. And suppose, you know, after your death, in the next life, if you are born as a human being, it's not that you will not even remember that I gave the theory of relativity. In fact, you will be studying your own theory in the textbooks again from the scratch. You cannot say, past life I was Albert Einstein. I will continue my research from there onwards. No. So, material progress, it is finished with the material body. Whereas spiritual progress is not like that. Krishna says, Swalpamapi yasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Krishna says, even swalpa means very little. Even if you make very little advancement, that is going to be for your credit forever. That means, suppose in this lifetime somebody made a progress of 5% in bhakti. In the next life, he or she will continue from the 6th percent onwards. That is the difference between material progress and spiritual advancement. So Krishna says, a person who could not attain perfection in one lifetime, in the next life, I will give him a human form of life, and that too in a favorable circumstance, in a family of spiritual values, or he will be born in a rich family so that he need not have to worry about his basic needs. He can be comfortably situated materially and continue to practice spiritual life. Some people you might have experienced, you yourself or people around you, they have a natural attraction for spiritual practices. From where did this come? Krishna says in this chapter, Purvabhyasena tenaiva. Whatever abhyasa practice you have done in the past life, that is deposited in the soul, that is there in the soul, and therefore, whenever you find a spiritual activity, naturally you feel drawn towards it. That's because of your Purva Janma Samskara. So, therefore, uh, Krishna says such a person is not lost. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Krishna also says, a person who is my devotee, I will make sure that he is not lost. So this is Krishna's personal assurance. So therefore, we must have faith in the words of Krishna and practice bhakti in the association of devotees by hearing Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita and also chanting his holy names. So thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I hope it was a thoughtful session, and I hope you benefited from today's session. We will meet again tomorrow to discuss chapter 7. Please do invite your friends and acquaintances in the campus to join us for the session tomorrow. Thank you very much. Granthra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So thank you very much for having such a wonderful session. I hope everybody has gained some insights. And the last part, Q&A part, where Prabhu explained two more things to us and the process of karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and bhakti yoga ultimately. So it was a nice session. Hope everyone enjoyed. So thank you all for joining us today. We hope to see you again tomorrow at 8:45 p.m. Hare Krishna.